Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly KV Core Conversion Inside Real Estate Marketing Tactics. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that you guys can see the right screen. Annalisa, do I have the right screen showing up? Does it say Craigslist Marketing Tactics?
Craigslist marketing tactics, yes.
Good. I want to make sure it grabbed the right monitor. It seems like you guys can all hear me. Thanks, Roland. And let's go ahead. We'll go through this. I don't know that a lot of people are still using Craigslist regularly, but it feels to me like it's an overlooked channel. Or maybe for the people who do use it regularly, they think I'm crazy. Like, no, I use Craigslist every day. So how many of you guys are using Craigslist on a regular basis? And if not, why not? If you want to pop that in the box, I'd be interested to see the responses. But I'll just go ahead here and mention that all of these sessions are recorded. You can find them right in the document. There's a link right under the headline, and I suppose since I'm mentioning the document, I should copy the link and paste it to all you guys. So let's do that. Boom. Sent to all. So there's a link to the doc, and it has a link to all of these recordings within the doc, which are posted to our fan page on the videos page. So let's plow in. Why Craigslist? Well, people are actively searching in general on Craigslist. Now, you have crazy people like my wife who search for real estate every day, even though she has no intention of buying anything. But most of the people who are on Craigslist are kind of actively searching or just at least curious about what's on the market in a specific area. So on the intent level, I'd probably put it somewhere between, let's say, intent level, right? How motivated those people are. Probably somewhere between Facebook and Google. I think that's a fair thing to say, where Facebook, when they see one of your ads, they're kind of being interrupted and they're just kind of clicking out of curiosity. So in general, there's not a lot of intent. And on Google, where somebody clicks on they actually type in a keyword, Tampa homes for sale, there's a lot of intent there. I'd say Craigslist is probably somewhere in the middle and probably closer to Google if I just had to guess. So good intent level, meaning if people become leads off a Craigslist ad, there's a good chance they're going to buy sooner than later relative to something like Facebook. Craigslist is free, I think, still in most markets, right, to post in the real estate section. I might have that wrong. I know some of the bigger markets have gone to paid, but for the most part, it's free. And if not, if you're in a paid market, it probably still is relatively affordable and will yield you ROI. Because I imagine a lot of your competition isn't willing to pay, might not be willing to pay, so there might be some opportunity there. It might be even better that you have to pay in your market because you'll have less competition. And the next thing I have is your competitors have limited beliefs and aren't consistent. That's another good reason for Craigslist. I know that a lot of people just blow Craigslist off and say, hey, it's all scammers because they, heard something on the news, or, they just blanket dismiss Craigslist as being this weird, seedy place that they want nothing to do with. When really, sure, that stuff happens, but for the most part, you're not going to get scammed just for opening your website up to Craigslist.com and posting an ad. So that's it. That said, you want to watch out and use common sense and don't get scammed when something feels weird. And the last thing I have here is, yes, you can still divert and convert. It's like a phrase of mine that I like to use going back years, where basically you can use Craigslist as a channel. They have limited the ability to drive traffic off of Craigslist, but there are still things you can do to generate a lead, to get those eyeballs off of Craigslist and onto your assets, and particularly your conversion or KV Core websites. So that's what we're going to do here today. We're going to focus on how to run ads that get people into your wheelhouse, into the conversion and KV Core systems. So I'm going to start here by saying that before you start posting, I'm going to give you kind of a process to follow right here. I recommend that you prepare CTAs, calls to action. And probably the wrong term, but what we're going to want to create is some kind of way for people to opt in and become a lead for you before you ever run an ad. So as an example of this would be, two examples of this would be to create a text message call to action or a vanity URL that drives to a squeeze or a landing page. So we did a whole session probably about a month or two ago now about both of these topics, but I'm going to run into the conversion dashboard now and just show you where you can create a custom text code. So I went to lead generation, custom text codes, and I'm going to have one of these available. Now, I've created a few in the past. I have, for example, golf homes is a keyword I have there. And maybe that's not as relevant for what I want to do today. Let's do real estate deals because I know that I have a domain ready. So let's say custom code real estate deals. And then I'm going to set my reply for this code. Just a quick review for you guys how to create a text code. Great. Here's the link to the deals. Okay, and then I'll probably want to give them the actual URL. For now, I'm just going to use a vanity URL that I know I have, realestatedealsflorida.com. Now that vanity URL, not to complicate things, will actually go to a squeeze page. You can do it that way and make them then give you an email. Probably better practice to just, now that you have their phone number, just send them directly to the property list. But more important right now is just to show you how to create those codes really quickly. And now what I have is the ability to tell people to text real estate deals to my smart number, which I can find all the way down here at the bottom, my smart number down at the bottom. So I'll put this in the doc just for example's sake. Example equals text message real estate deals to, and I'll grab my smart number. So what you just saw me do was create a text call to action. And I think you guys can see where I'm going with this is that I'm probably going to be integrating this text call to action into my Craigslist ads as I post for listings later once we get to that part. And that's exactly what's going on, 6949. All right, and this is a great feature that both KV Core and Conversion offer you. You have the ability to create these text codes for generating leads, and they are, I would say the quality is pretty good because you're going to be getting, if somebody just texted you, you're going to be getting a real cell number every time. So this is a way you can lift real cell numbers off. Cool, Annalisa, did I miss anything there on the creation of a text code?
No, I would just say, as usual, it's minimum 4 characters, cannot start with a numeral. So those are like the main rules.
Okay, cool. And then I have a link if you're using KV Core. Pretty much the same thing. You're just going to go to the link I provide there and then go ahead and add a new text code. Just a slightly different looking, but same idea. So
Yep,
make sure
same.
you have your text ready. Or you can play with it both ways, or you can do both of these together, which I'll probably do here in an example. Or you can go ahead and create a vanity URL that links to either a squeeze page or a landing page. So examples of these, I'm going to go ahead and click two that I have hanging around. I have one vanity URL where I went and bought stpetopenhouses.info. And if I open that, it's going to take me straight to a list of all the open houses in St. Pete straight away. And then if I start to click through here, of course, eventually it's going to prompt me to log in. And it's probably not going to do that now because I'm logged into my dashboard. But you know, anybody who sees that URL, clicks on it, has a chance of becoming a lead. The other one is that Real Estate Deals Florida vanity URL that I have where instead of sending them straight to the list, I'm going to get them to opt in for deals, foreclosures, fixer-uppers, and things of that nature. So if you want to generate an email and hopefully a cell number, you can do it like that. So the choice is yours, which one you want to do. It'll work both ways. And I think a lot of this, just a sort of an advanced tip, is if you want to retarget as many people as possible and put as many people onto custom audiences as possible, if you're doing some advanced Facebook, Google marketing, then I might personally skip over the landing page, just let them engage with the website a little more. But really, it could go either way. All right. So that's that. I'm going to show you guys quickly. I know I'm moving fast, but you can watch the recording. I want to show you quickly, just so it's down in the recording, how to go ahead and forward a GoDaddy URL. So let's go into GoDaddy. Where'd you go? Boom. Right here. And if I just go into my domain, might have to go back. I think I'm one step ahead here. All my crazy domains. If you're like me, just anytime you get an idea, it becomes a domain that gets purchased and ignored forever. Real estate deals. Here we go. So you'll click into your domain, and then if you go to the Manage DNS, so I'm going to assume that everybody can figure out how to go to GoDaddy and buy the domain. Once you own it, if you go to Manage DNS and you scroll down, there's this little section right here where you can set what it forwards to. So that's where you'll put in either a link to your squeeze or a landing page. Now, this is a very useful technique, not only for Craigslist, but anywhere where you want to kind of show a URL that people can't click. We can't do clickable URLs in Craigslist. Say, for example, print advertising, or if you're running, maybe you're doing billboards, you're going large there, or you're buying signs at baseball and soccer games and you're promoting. This is a good place to go buy a memorable URL, something easy to remember, realestatedealsflorida.com, and forward it into your lead capture trap. Definitely a technique you want to put in your arsenal here. So that's that. So we've created our text message CTAs, our vanity URLs. I know we haven't opened Craigslist yet. That's because we're just preparing here. I have a list of vanity URL hook ideas. So some of my favorites, especially for Craigslist traffic, are going to be that open house list because they're actively searching fixer-uppers, foreclosures, lease to own. A lot of people searching on Craigslist are going to be looking. You may get away with running rentals, but then showing a list of rent-to-own properties, like rent-to-own stpeteflorida.com or something like that. That's probably going to get you lots of action. There's going to be a very, very good one. So you guys can think up your vanity, your hook. It can be delivered either via text message or via squeeze or landing page. Now I have this a little bit out of order here. The next thing I want to do, put that right where it actually belongs in the flow. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to make an image that is going to be uploaded with my Craigslist posts that I'm going to manually upload in order to get more exposure for this call to action. So what I'm going to do now is quickly open up Google Drive, so drive.google.com. I'm going to click New. And then if you click More, you can go to Drawings. Let's see, stocks.google.com/drawings, actually, if you want to go directly there. Okay, and then I will insert a shape. Now, I'm a big fan of ugly ads. If you want to make something prettier, you could use a tool like canva.com, but for the purposes of Craigslist and making sure somebody's eyeballs get burnt out of their head with the URL, I think you'll do fine doing something what I'm doing here. So I inserted a shape, and then I'm going to go to this bucket. I'm going to let's make it yellow. If I want to go nuts, I can give it a border. Right here, I can make that border red. Right? And then I'll insert a text box. See a list of, all right, we'll do the open house one. Every open house in St. Pete, Florida this weekend. Go to openhouses.info. And remember, they can't click this, but it's pretty easy to see this and open it. And we know a lot of people are going to be browsing on mobile, so they can put this into their brain, St. Pete openhouse.info, and go and open up a new tab. It's kind of the effect we're going for here. And that's why it is important to try to pick a URL that's going to be really easy for people to remember. So let's just make the text bigger here. Bold. We'll make it look like a hyperlink. Make this a little bigger. All right, I'm doing this quick. I might spend a little more time. This is going to be something you use over and over and over again. So it is worth, spending a little time making it look kind of cool. And I could also, said I might do two at one time. There's not really anything stopping us from doing so. We could also go here and say, or text message real estate deals. Might as well get it right. To see some bank-owned foreclosures, fixers, and other deal types. St. Pete in Florida now. All right, same thing. So I'm doing both. Now, confusion is kind of the enemy of conversions, so you're probably going to get better conversions off this if you just stick with one very focused idea. And of course, you can split test. You can upload 2 separate images if you want. Nothing's stopping you from doing that. So we'll go here. But just for example's sake, let's pop them both in the same one. Let's make this one ugly and purple. Okay.
What did you say about burning eyeballs? What was that?
I'm saying I'm making this just kind of ugly so that the
I
text.
know.
Yeah. So
It's disruptive. It's going to get their attention.
yeah. So the red border, all this stuff, you know, you do whatever you want. You can even, you know, and it won't hurt if you want to brand this a little more and put your picture on it, and like under your picture have a caption, you know, open house specialist or new construction specialist. It's not going to hurt, especially if you're consistently posting
Hmm.
to Craigslist and people are browsing on Craigslist every day. The repetition of them seeing this in a bunch of your different ads won't hurt. So definitely have fun with this image. I'm going to go with my ugly one right now for demo's sake. And I'm simply taking a screenshot like this, and I'll save it, Craigslist list image. So it's just sitting on my computer. And now I can easily grab it when it's time to go ahead and run our ads. So that's that. I've set up my calls to action, and I've made an image that I can upload with my ads that people can interact with. All right. So now that we've done that, moving fast here today, we've done Google Draw. Let's go ahead and start to create some ads. Now, luckily, I don't know if everybody here has used this or not, but very cool tool that Conversion Encore provide is a Craigslist uploader via a Google Chrome plugin. So I'm going to go into Conversion first. And actually what I'll do, I wonder if I can, I'm going to remove the plugin just so I can show you guys kind of what will happen the first time you try to do this. So let's go to my dashboard. Now in regular conversion, if you go to your dashboard, it'll actually have some suggested Craigslist posts. And I notice it actually does tell you if nobody else has posted the Craigslist in your office. So that's pretty cool too. I'm not seeing any that haven't been, so somebody must have been actively doing that today. But no big deal. I can click post on Craigslist here. I can also go into listings and search any listing, and when I find a listing, there's a drop-down option to post in Craigslist. I'll show you what that looks like when I get over into Core. So let's go ahead here and click Post on Craigslist. And now it's just going to tell me if you're seeing this message because you need to set up your Craigslist posting system. Cool. I'm going to install Google Chrome, which I already have, and then now I'm going to click the conversion extension and install that via the Chrome store. So I'm going to click Add to Chrome, Add Extension. Great. And I think it may make you enter your login info. Hopefully I remember my login info. Here we go. Please work.
And there are 2 separate extensions for KD Core and Conversion. We'll make sure those links on how to install those will be on that doc.
Great. Yep. And it's very nice. It's nicely done. Both systems actually just kind of walk you right through it, which is really cool. So I'm going to go back. It's asking me, it says go back and try again. No problem. Now that that's done. So now it read that it saw that I had the tool. It asked me where would I like to post? Craigslist. Pretty simple. I'll pick the local area. And it started going crazy here. And I think this one must have been an apartment because it said it went into the apartments for rent. Yes, it did. It kind of knew somehow. Cool. And look, it's created the post, which is really, really neat. And wonderful. Now, like, we don't want to waste the effort we just went through. And if you just do this on a consistent basis, you will have some level of return. So you can ignore everything I did in the first 10, 15 minutes with all that creating CTAs. And you'll notice that there is a CTA built in, call to action, info and pics, please text. And it's basically your subdomain. It says Ryan Hartman to that number, and you can generate leads that way. But of course, what I want to do is I'm going to go back and first I'll edit my images. And I'm going to add in my Craigslist image. I have it right there. You want to keep it nearby. And there we go. So if somebody's looking for pictures of this house, right, they'll see this image first, they'll scroll over and they'll see this and go, oh, cool, St. Pete open houses, why not? Let's see what the open houses are. And they go open a new browser in their phone or, you know, on their desktop and they create that. They become a lead. They see it and they go to it. The next thing I can do is dress up this a little more. And I might replace, I probably want to, you can leave this one, but I might also say, you can also go to www.realestatedealsflorida.com to see a complete current list of foreclosures and other bank-owned and other deal types. Now, I'm doing this very quick, but this section right here might be something you keep in a notepad, in Microsoft Word or on Mac in Pages or something that you can just go ahead and paste in, and you can do an extra call to action or two. I have that one, and then again, text real estate deals Florida. You guys get the point, but try to make this, if you can, stand out. I believe you can use markup. Oh, I should have tested, but I think you can still bold stuff in Craigslist with
I think
this.
there's still some in HTML in there, yeah.
Yeah, so if you Google allowable Craigslist HTML, and you can kind of just grab this stuff, make this one time with your call to action, and just quickly go back into each Craigslist post and edit it so you can put what you're doing in there for your
Can
news.
I interject real quick?
Yeah.
So if you scroll into the body of that again, and where it says info and pics, please text Ryan Hartman too. I do want to point out to everyone that the Craigslist auto poster is designed, of course, to help do this job of creating the ad for you. However, the system, the Chrome extension is going to drop in, I think it's a rotation of 5 or 6 different sentences. It says for info and pics, for more information, text, and it'll always have your name as an agent tied to your smart number landing. But there's going to be a variation of that sentence just so Craigslist doesn't know we have a bot creating the ad for you. Now, from a consumer user point of view, your name is always tied to the smart number and millions mapped. So whenever a consumer lead texts your name to the smart number, conversion immediately sends millions mapped,
Okay.
which is your consumer-facing app that you want people to have on their phone. Now, from a KV Core point of view, it's important to make sure you set up a custom text code for yourself, for the app, or for that specific listing. So I just want to make sure we get those differentiations out there.
So if you're using KV Core, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure this is created.
Right.
You have to
Yeah,
manually
create your own app, and we're going to have information coming out soon about Millions Mapped and KV Core. I don't have an exact date yet, but it is coming. So keep an eye out for that. But just make sure you're aware that it's going to autofill that content. So if you want someone specifically to land on your dashboard, you know exactly what they're inquiring on. Really take what Ryan's saying to heart and create that custom text code for that specific case, so you know exactly what you're responding to.
Yeah, I was saying that to Justin, and the other thing you can probably do is make an offer wall kind of deal where you go, you could even do interesting property lists you might like, and then you could put 2 or 3 text codes right below, or 2 or 3.
Absolutely. Yeah,
and even go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, even the looky-loos who are like, oh, the neighbor's place down the street, how much is it going for? You could also put a code in there like, hey, curious about your property value? Text this code to this number, and it'll send them your valuation link. So you can work in any type of situation, down payment assistance grants, whatever.
Really good point on the seller leads. So take a half hour, create 3, 4, 5 codes, include a seller-focused offer, and just create this text that you can quickly copy and paste in from else, every time you create a Craigslist post. And that bit of work, I mean, it's going to take a half hour, but you only have to do it once, and it's done. Yep.
Short amount of time, grand scheme of things.
Yep. So there we go. My post is done. And that's about it. I mean, it's almost too easy in my mind. You can look over this stuff, but the system did a lot of the heavy lifting for me. It popped the description in, it had how many bedrooms, the location is in there. I can show on maps, and I'm pretty good to go. I believe that the last step says unpublished draft. I'll click publish, and it'll say you should receive an email shortly. I don't know if this happens every time these days or if it's just in some cases, But just make sure that you go and you check and click to post the ad at the end of, at the end. So that's that. Very, very easy. You can also, of course, manually post stuff to Craigslist if you want, but why would you when you have this Chrome extension? That just saved me a good 5-10 minutes. And I know that everything is exactly accurate because the computer did it. Okay, so let's see. We have any questions?
William Shanahan was saying he also unchecks the boxes.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that is in reference to.
Yeah, there's probably some options.
When you're in the editing section,
Yeah.
right in there? Yeah. Okay.
Contact me by text, by phone, yeah, things like that. So yeah, just look them over and do, pick what fits for you. Okay, cool. So next, I'm just going to go through some kind of hacks and tips. First thing that usually the question that comes to mind, especially for newer agents who don't have listing inventory, is where am I going to get listings to post? First thing I would do is just ask the broker for permission. Hey, am I allowed to post everybody's listings? In most companies, you're not going to run into a situation where every listing agent is posting their listings every day. So if you can get blanket approval from your broker, that might be a cool thing. If not, just go to specific listing agents, whether at your company and even at other companies, and just say, hey, I use Craigslist as a way to generate leads. Do you mind if I post your listings as I see you get new listings? The good ones are going to say, yeah, man, great. I don't need to do it. More exposure for my listing, and there you go. HUD, you are allowed to advertise, I think, still, so you can look for HUD listings. One quick way to find those, you can find them, I think, on your website. You can type keyword HUD in, I think. But if not, you can go to HUDHomestore.com and run searches for HUD listings and try to find the MLS numbers based on the addresses. Offer a posting service to FSBOs, and I know there are a number of agents, I've run into a number of agents over the years who've done this, and it's a really cool thing to offer for sale by owner. Hey, I use Craigslist to generate buyer leads for myself. Do you mind if I post your listing to Craigslist every 2 days or whatever it is? And if you can get the FSBO to talk to you, it could be a good way to get your foot in the door for the listing later on. And of course, a nice way to get inventory to generate buyer leads off of. And last thing I have here is that rentals work too. Don't forget, you can post rentals. A lot of people searching rentals are also thinking about buying. And of course, rentals are a good way to get quick cash in some markets where there are a lot of fee listings and everybody's cooperating and paying commissions. And for longer term database building, you might, especially if you're new, rentals might be a good place to look as a strategy, posting rentals to Craigslist for building up your database. Okay, some posting tips and hacks. Make your headline stand out because everyone else is boring I had here, but don't be too crazy. I've heard of, people will flag if you're too wild and wacky. I've heard of this being a problem. So just pick like a cool feature of the listing, or just leave whatever conversion does. I do things like party time porch. I can't even remember, but wow, don't take it for granted. Playing on granite in the kitchen, things like that. Pick a cool feature. Try some alliteration. Um, like, oh man, I wish I had the examples here. I think I pasted this from an earlier webinar. I don't have the examples, but have fun with the way the words are written in the subject line. Exclamation words like womp. Here we go. Party time, porch. Don't take it for granted. Things like this. ASCII characters, I always think they look weird, but if you Google ASCII characters, you can make little emojis looking type things in your subject line. NLP phrases, meaning it's kind of like an embedded command. You might love the backyard, something like that. Induces curiosity. Oh, the backyard, let me look and find a picture of that backyard. With video, if you can link to a video of the property, even if you just paste the YouTube URL into the post, doing something like video in the subject line will help you get more click-through. And for the grid view, kind of a fun hack, you can put a picture of Mr. T, Spider-Man, a peeing dog, or something on the lawn, and right here. So, Sam, I'm on a webinar. Yeah, I have the dog. Sorry, guys. 12-year-old invasion, 13 now. All right, so you could do something like this. I have a picture of Mr. T standing on a lawn. So when somebody's on Craigslist, right here. Let's go to the real estate for sale. A lot of people will be searching, and I think it actually defaults to the gallery or grid view. So just picture this gallery. It's got a bunch of boring houses, and then all of a sudden, Mr. T, where'd he go? Oops, here we go. Mr. T pops up. You can see how that might be a pattern interrupt and get people to click through. So just a thought, if you really want to go nuts, that technique, of course, also works well for Facebook ads. If you're doing single listings and you want to put fun things on the front yard just to stop traffic and get them to click through. Okay, another hack. Some people will search school districts. They might search certain neighborhoods. So if I go back to my posting here, I might go down here and type right at the bottom. I might do like York Suburban School District. And some power users will use the search functionalities of Craigslist to find specific things. I remember, for example, we were looking for bungalows. You might type bungalow in, or the name of a neighborhood like Kenwood down in St. Pete, where, you can't really post to that neighborhood explicitly on Craigslist, but if you put the keywords in and people are searching for that neighborhood, you have a better chance of your post being found as it becomes older, and gets archived down the list of posts.
Hey,
Okay.
Ryan,
Yep.
Peter Williams is asking, what do you recommend if you do not have a vanity or have purchased a vanity site?
Well, the text codes are a good quick way. If you haven't, you don't really need to purchase a whole website. You're just purchasing the URL from GoDaddy. And if you don't want to spend the whole $10, like if you're just trying out an idea, the .info domains are pretty cheap. So if I do York, PA, new construction .info, land for sale .info. Generally, the .infos are going to be available for $2.99. So, it's a little extra work, but people will type that in and go, and it's a way to catch your leads. Otherwise, just use the text codes built into conversion and forego the vanity domains. Okay.
Thank
Some
you,
questions
sir.
that usually come. Yep, no problem. Some questions that come up: when to post. Well, if you want results, you're going to want anything. You want to be consistent with it. So if you say, "Hey, I'm going to go on with this Craigslist thing," don't expect to just post tomorrow morning. Not get any leads and say it doesn't work. You're going to have to, basically this is a at least once, maybe twice a day kind of thing, and your results are going to build up over time. So you might post some days and get no leads, or you might post some days and get 3 or 4 leads. A lot's going to depend upon the specific listing, how good your calls to action are for those vanity domains and texts, but definitely play around every day, and try to test different angles, the things I'm talking about above, the text codes and the URL. So once you get something working, always use that, and maybe every now and then throw in a different idea, see if it gets you better results. So post daily. Vary your times of day. A good tip would be to think about when your target audience and when they might be on, when they're kind of just chilling out and have time to browse for listings. And that would usually be around morning coffee, before work, lunchtime, evening, after kids in bed. So you can kind of build your routine around this. Maybe you say, hey, I'm going to go post a Craigslist post every morning right when I start work at 8 a.m. I'm going to try to do one midday, but if you can't, no big deal. And then you'll say, hey, before I start watching TV myself, and I go to relax for the day, the last piece of sort of lead generation or thing I'll do to build my business today is I'll just run 1 or 2 Craigslist ads before I relax. So if you can get into the same kind of morning routine, same kind of routine around what other people are doing in your market, you have a better chance of getting replies. Another tip, don't post too often. You can get in trouble. People will flag you. You don't want to go post, 50 posts right away. Try to keep it calm. I've heard people saying 1, 2, maybe 3 at most at a time. You don't want to just blanket Craigslist with all of your ads. Instead, focus on the quality of the post. Use cool, interesting listings. and focus on the quality of your calls to action, those text codes and those URLs. And final point with posting, haters are going to hate. You can get flagged, so don't be too, like I said, don't be too crazy. Don't ever, get political or do anything that would make people not like your ad for any reason. And it is possible to get ghosted where your ads don't show by Craigslist. If you feel like you're not getting any results at all, it's possible that that's happening as well, where they're not showing your ads. You may just need to get a different account and start over. But that's that. Some other thoughts, you can definitely use this for recruiting too. You can either just, other agents and other people interested in real estate might be looking at your ads. So I could upload another image here that says, hey, join our company. We'll train you how to be an awesome real estate agent and make money from ads like this. That could easily be, a call to action if you are focused on recruiting. And you can also use different sections in Craigslist to do that as well. Don't forget there is, if you are recruiting, there are sections for running job ads and things like that there. And don't forget seller leads. I'm just going to put that in there. Seller leads, as Annalisa mentioned, I've kind of left that out, but you can link to your seller lead page. You can also integrate lender, and I have affiliate CTAs, but that's getting a little wacky. Definitely on the lender side. So, get a vanity domain for, say, fixeruppermortgages.info, something like that is not going to hurt, especially if you and your lender are doing some co-marketing together. It's a great opportunity. I'll reference the earlier co-marketing webinar we did a month or so ago for ideas on this, but definitely don't forget your lender when you're doing your calls to action. And you might even be able to get an awesome lender to do your Craigslist posts for you. They tend to be in the office. They're not out about every day and can have a little more consistency. So maybe you work something out with your lender if you're sharing budgets, and you're dividing up labor. There's just an idea there that might help you get your Craigslist post on. Say, hey, you can post my listings, and here's an image you can upload with my listings to make sure that you get some leads out of it too. And I have affiliates call to actions. This is if you want to, maybe if you're focused on investors, for example, and you know of an affiliate investor resource for investors, could be an interesting way to generate a little side income. It's a thing I like to talk about. Just an idea. I don't want to dive too deep into that right here, but just another thing you can do. Anywhere there are eyeballs online, at Craigslist here, you can put stuff like this there and count on a certain percentage of people clicking over and taking an action. So there's a lot you can do with this. Posting services, sometimes I get hit, you guys probably do too, people will hit you up out of the blue on Facebook or something and say, hey, I'll post your Craigslist ads. Usually the English isn't too good. Use at your own risk, but there are services out there that will use VPNs, or maybe they'll tell you to put a computer in your office that's local so that they can log in and post for you, virtual assistants. It's always something to consider. I don't have anything specific to recommend, but just know that it is a strategy that you could employ if you want to outsource some of this work. And then the final note I have here is that as a team leader or broker owner, it might make sense to just take one of your new agents or just somebody and say, hey, you're our Craigslist person. You can get all the leads. You're going to make sure that all of our listings are consistently posted on Craigslist, and in return, you get all the leads, and you can kind of enlist the labor of your newer agents there. Maybe the agents who don't have as much of a budget or listing inventory would be excited to jump on that.
And
So
what's cool about that is
Yep.
as you work on your recruiting and another new agent comes in, then that other agent can train that person how to use the Craigslist tool. So then you have a built-in resource in your office for that, to learn that.
Yep, definitely. And I would bet most of the people listening to this aren't consistently using Craigslist, but if they just brought the idea up to somebody on their team, somebody would be like, sure, I'll take the reins on that. No big deal, easy enough. So that's that. Let's see. Great question from Peter. Can you reuse the text code only once, or is it reusable? It's always there until you delete it. So yes, you can use it anywhere and everywhere you want, as often as you want. Bob's asking if you have a VA overseas and post Craigslist ads from your conversion, would they need a VPN? I'm pretty sure, yeah, Bob, or install a, or get, maybe even better would be to have them use logmein.com, where they log directly into a cheap laptop, an old laptop you have, and let them log in from there and do it, so that it looks like a local, deal. Let's see, anybody else? Bob said 60% or more. Some agents get 60% or more of their business from Craigslist. Yeah, years ago, I mean, it was the best place to go. It's been a little overshadowed by Facebook, but I think that presents interesting opportunities because everybody is so focused on Facebook ads out there, and a lot of people don't, and you just aren't talking about Craigslist. So go where the competition isn't, and this is still a really viable channel. All right. Do you get their email address when they use the text code? Great question, Peter. You don't, but you can. So if they text you, you have total control of the reply. So you can send them back to a landing page where they have to give the email, or if you give them a link to a property list, the system is going to prompt them to register at some point. So you may get the email eventually. Um, but you have their cell number, so you might be able to say something as a follow-up to, hey, thanks for opting in for my open house list. Is it cool if I email you some of the best deals I know about right now? There's some techniques there to turn that cell number into also that email contact. Cool. Well, thanks for the participation, everybody. Does anybody have any questions either about Craigslist, anything else with conversion or KV Core? Annalisa and I are here for as long as you need us.
Just real quick, someone was saying, hey, can we reuse those codes for the text codes? So really, you can reuse them. You can also edit them anytime. So whether you're using it in a Craigslist ad or a sign writer or any type of print ad, these are things that you can recycle and continue to use. There's no limitation on them. I've never seen room tap out on the creativity of someone using text codes.
Absolutely. Just one other point I'd make. You may want to take like real estate deals. If I'm using that idea over and over again, I may say, hey, why don't I make real estate deals 1, 2, 3?
Mm-hmm.
And know that that's just for Craigslist, so that I can
Right.
track individual sources. But otherwise, yeah, you can use them anywhere you want. Cool. Well, great feedback today, guys. If there isn't anything else, Annalisa, I guess we can get going. Wow,
That's it.
time really flew
Yeah,
here.
it did, but it was great. Thank you so much.
Cool. Oh, thanks, Dwight. Dwight says that the last week's Messenger tactic got him 3 leads so far. Did you install Messenger on your on your site?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I actually posted to the core group this morning on my core demo site. I was able to successfully embed Bond Street Mortgage's call to
I
action.
saw
How
that.
would you like info about fixer-upper options? So there's a lot of fun things we could do. Great, Dwight. Thanks for that feedback. Anybody who is wondering what the heck we're talking about, just go ahead on over to the Facebook page or click the link in the doc, and you'll be able to see the webinar from last week about Facebook Messenger. All right, everybody, have a great, great week. We'll see you again next Tuesday. Thank you, Annalisa.
Thanks for being here, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.